With a by-election taking place next week in Wakefield, the Tories face a real challenge. That's firstly because Boris Johnson has had a rough few weeks in relation to Partygate. It's also because of the circumstances in which the previous MP resigned. Imran Ahmad Khan stood down as the Tory representative for Wakefield after being found guilty of sexually assaulting a 15-year-old boy. But the Conservative candidate in next week's vote still thinks constituents should give his party another go.
The thing is, though, the reason why we're having this by-election is because the previous Conservative MP was convicted of sexually assaulting a teenage boy. I think the Tories deserve to lose this election, don't they?
No, they don't, because Mr. Khan, for his offences, was the right things happened to him. He's in prison, which is the right place. As a teacher, a father, and as a human being, what he did was wrong. It was disgusting, and he's in prison, and he's rightly in prison. He's been convicted of that offence, and we can't. I cannot stand here. I cannot stand here and say that was right, or it was absolutely disgusting. And the people of Wakefield know that he was one bad apple. As you know, Harold Shipman committed suicide in Wakefield Prison. He was a GP, one of the most a trusted professional like teachers and others. Where we put that, when they put a vaccine in our arm, we trust what they're putting in us. Have we stopped trusting GPs? No, we still trust GPs, and we know that he was one bad apple in there. So he was one bad apple. He's rightly been convicted. He's rightly in prison, and the people of Wakefield are forgiving people, providing we speak truth to them and we acknowledge the wrongs of what he's done.
Dahlia, there's an old adage, which is if you're explaining in politics, you're losing. Now, if explaining means losing, what does explaining with reference to Harold Shipman mean?
I don't know who did this man's media training, but it's like if you're trying to bury the crimes of, your predecessor, or at least trying to rehabilitate yourself, given what your predecessor did, I feel like just saying, well, he's just like Harold Shipman is not great political comms. But yeah, the whole bad apple in a barrel thing or whatever. We're talking about the Conservative government here. There is a systemic issue of sexual assault. And that was one of the key problems here, was that it wasn't just about what this MP did. It was about the complicity of institutions around him. And the fact that there are sitting MPs today, mainly Crispin Blunt, who still defend him and still claim that this was a miscarriage of justice on the basis of what? That's his mate? I don't know, it's incredibly difficult to get a sexual assault conviction in a court. And so to be still claiming that he should be forgiven as a sitting MP, this isn't something that, my mate and someone that I consider to be a colleague should be fired for. We know that there is a broader issue here because more than 10 MPs, and this is actually not just the Conservative Party, it's actually a broader Westminster issue. More than 10 MPs in just the past 5 years have had sexual assault allegations made against them. And that's before you even consider the systemic disregard for victims of sexual assault through the closure of rape crisis centres under austerity. But even on that individual level, there is a culture of cover-ups and brushing under the carpet of sexual assault allegations in government. And so this really isn't one bad apple in a barrel. This is the barrel itself is the problem. And so his little metaphor doesn't really work. But I just don't know who let him out loose on the streets with that kind of media training, because it's almost like the Tories want to lose.
All of us here at Novara Media are working harder than ever to keep scrutinising establishment politicians and the media barons who protect them. We don't have billionaire funders. We don't have advertising partnerships. We're funded entirely by you. If you've ever thought about supporting us, now's the time to go to novaramedia.com/support and donate anything you can from just £1 per month. Defy the corporate media. Join our monthly supporters and help build our supporter base to 10,000 strong.